of work. We're going to be seated on our butt with our knees bent out in front of us. So come down onto the ground. No need to grab your Theraband right away. But we're just going to start with some windshield wipers. So just a nice, easy seated position, and then drop your knees side to side. So that's all you got to do for those first 30 seconds of work is just some windshield wipers. And here you're going to get a lot of information. So how are your knees feeling? How are your hips feeling? And then how's your low back feeling? So just kind of get a sense. And even if you will, check in and see how are your wrists feeling. We have like a side plank this morning and some other wrist heavy things. So if your wrist is feeling cranky, you just might want to just adjust your mat or put a little cushion under your wrists. Okay, now seeing if it feels good, we're going to take these into some 90-90s. So hands free, if you will. Now you're going to take that motion and make it bigger and roll side to side. But if those big 90-90s don't work good for you, stick with those windshield wipers. So it might feel better to just stick with those rocking knees side to side. But if you can go hands free, then it's that bigger motion and we're swinging it out to a 90-90, swinging it out the other way. You got it. Nice work. We got 10 seconds left. Just whatever variation you're doing, make sure it feels good in your body. 3 seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, if you got here late, you just need your Theraband this morning. So good morning. All right, grab onto your knees and we're going to take it into a seated cat cow. Inhale as you lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades. Exhale, round back and get a little stretch through that space between the shoulders. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale, round back and get a little stretch. And then just find a nice little rhythm here. All you got to do is 30 seconds of work. So take it at your pace. All right, now we're going to take it into a halfway roll back. So you're going to push your hands into your thighs, thighs into your hands, come back halfway, lift all the way up, realign your spine. Roll back to that halfway point, just to the point where you feel those abdominal muscles kick on, and then bring it right back up. And that's all you got to do. Roll back halfway, let the hands push into the thighs and the thighs give just a little bit of resistance. So we find a little bit of work in the arms and the upper body and a bunch of work in our center. And time. Nicely done. Okay, we're coming down onto our back. Have your Theraband just kind of nearby so it's easy to access, but we're going to come all the way down onto the ground and then roll over onto one side. So it's going to be a little bit of a fetal position, 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other. So we're going to take it into a stacked arm position. So palm to palm, everything else is going to stay as still as it can. And then that top arm is just going to reach back, your head will turn with, and then bring it back in. So we got 30 seconds on this side, just finding a little reach, a little twist, and then bring it right back in. So your head and your arm are the most moving parts. And then you're going to find a little bit of twist in the spine, but the bottom shoulder stays as stable as it can and the hips stay stacked. Nice work. 7 seconds left on this side. All right, and that's time. So now we're going to flip over to the other side. So you might choose to just roll over. I'm going to spin it all the way around just so I'm facing out to the camera, but find your fetal position on the other side, get yourself set up, and then right back to those twists. That top arm reaches back and behind and your head moves with you. And then just come back in and find that opening up at a pace that works good for you. So we reach and find a twist and then bring it back in. Ten seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, grab your Theraband. And now we're going to do it into a single leg raise. So we're going to take our Theraband and it's going to wrap around the right foot. Left leg is going to stay down on the ground. So we're going to catch hold of the bottom of the right foot with a nice bit of length on our Theraband. Left leg long or left leg bent, just whatever feels better and you have good control of. Once you've got your Theraband wrapped around your foot, choke up on it just a little bit so you get a little resistance. And it's just going to be a single leg raise. So we're moving up and down with just that leg with as much resistance on your Theraband as works good for you. You can do a double hand hold, you can do a single hand hold, whatever works great there. I like to pin my elbows down onto the ground, so I really just keep that firm hold on my Theraband, but you choose which variation works good for you. And then as you start to find this work here, see if you can think about pulling your belly button towards your spine. So we're keeping a solidness in our center. Even think about pulling the backs of your ribs down into the ground, especially if you feel like your ribs and your chest are puffing up. See if you can draw the backs of your ribs down to the ground to keep everything stable in the top half of the body. Nice work. Three seconds left. All right, now the next time that leg comes up in the air, keep it there. Bring your other foot up to meet. We're just going to catch hold of it right in the end of the loop and then set your right leg down, reset your arms, and away we go, kicking with that left leg. So moving up and down at a pace that feels good to you, keeping a good resistance on your Theraband so you're finding some really nice work. If you can, once you found that solidness in your center, like your belly is firm, the backs of your ribs are pulling into the ground, now see if you can just tune in and think about pushing your heel down to the ground, and maybe you'll feel that little bit of firing up in the back of your leg. Awesome job. You're already halfway there. We got 5 seconds left. All right, now the next time the leg goes up in the air, keep it there, and the right leg is going to come up to meet. Now we're going to keep both legs in our band, and then we're going to keep a good tight resistance. So we're going to keep that space between the legs nice and close. Pull as hard down into that Theraband as you can. And now we're going to just push the heels apart. So we're going to work outer thigh, think outer thigh, inner thigh. So push your heels outward, but get a good amount of resistance on your Theraband. So you might not get very far if you're holding on pretty tight. And I'm going to spin myself around just so that make sure you can see what I've got going on. But we're pushing outward with the heels and bringing it back in with control. So finding that pushing out sensation, but don't ricochet back in. Come back in with the same amount of control that you push out. So a little bit of a flex in the foot. Hopefully you're feeling and finding that work in the outer edges of your thighs. Yes, nice work, you guys. You're already halfway there. Three seconds left. You got this. And time. Nicely done. Okay, bend your knees, remove your feet from the Theraband, but we're going to stick with those legs. So send them back up towards the sky. And now we're going to externally rotate so the toes and the knees are pointing out slightly. And now we're going to start to crisscross the legs. We're going to start right there with the toes pointing up towards the ceiling, just finding that crisscross action. And then once you feel like you've got that crisscross action, now we're going to add on. So as you crisscross, the legs are going to lower down towards the ground, but hover, crisscross, and bring it back up. And then you're going to take that at your pace. Now, if it feels like it's too much, you're only going to stick with this legs up in the air and crisscross here. But if it feels good to find that extra bit of work, you're going to lower the legs down and then bring them back up. If this causes discomfort in your low back or your tailbone, as your legs come down, let your chin lift up and then lower your head as your legs come up and see if that feels any better. Whichever bit of work you're doing, you got 23 seconds left. Yes, nice work, you guys. That looks amazing. Beautiful. Nice, Linda. Awesome job. You guys are amazing. And time. Beautiful work. Okay, bend those knees, set them down. We're taking it right into a hip bridge, but adding on a little bit of a hip bridge with a reach. So feet about shoulder width distance apart, lifting the hips up and lowering down. That might be where you stay. You might choose to just stick with this bit of work. But if this feels good and you want that little extra, as you lift your hips, you're going to lift and reach over. So opposite hand reaches over to the other corner. Lift your hips up, you roll up onto the shoulder and reach across. If that does not feel good to lift up onto the shoulder, maybe you'll just take it into a hip bridge with both arms reaching up and overhead. But if you can add that little bit of extra as you lift up onto that shoulder, you reach across, lower with control, take it over to the other side. So choose the variation that works good for you. Beautiful, you guys. Nice work. You're already halfway there. And time. Awesome job. When you're ready, come up to a seated position, grab your Theraband. We're going to wrap it around one foot. So we're going to take our band, loop it around the bottom of the foot, but see if you can spread your band nice and wide so you're catching hold of the ball of the foot in a good wide position. And then once you've got yourself there, we're going to choke up on that band, pull it nice and tight, spread your toes as wide as you can, and then we're going to think Barbie foot. So we're going to push the ball of the heel forward or ball of the foot forward, but keep the toes as spread as you can, and then pull the toes back in with control. Keep the toes spread, push the ball of the foot forward, keep the toes spread, pull it back in. So it's a super slow controlled motion. We keep the toes as wide and spread as we can, push the ball of the foot forward, keep the toes spread, pull it back in. 10 more seconds on this foot. All right, and then when you're ready, slip your other foot into your band, slip the other foot out, and then once you've got your other foot set up, away we go. Spread the toes, push the ball of the foot forward, keep the toes spread, pull it back in. So we really want to find that focus on trying to spread your toes as wide as you can. With that Theraband wrapped around the bottom of the foot, it might create a little bit of extra work or resistance, but you keep them spread just as much as your toes allow. Beautiful job. 3 seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Okay, unloop your foot, wiggle out your toes, give everything a little shake out. And now we're going to take it right into a side plank. So your version of side plank that you like. You might choose to come up to a full high side plank. 30 seconds of work on one side, 30 seconds on the other. If that full high plank doesn't feel good, bring your knee down, offer a little bit of support. If it's the shoulder that creates a little bit of mischief, maybe you come down elbow and forearm, but stay in that more lifted position. So you choose the version that you like. We want to think about pulling those bottom ribs up away from the ground, top ribs lifting up towards the sky. We got 10 more seconds on the sides. Nice steady breath here. You got this. And time. Switch over to the other side. So either just flip yourself around or flip over into a way that works good for you. And then you choose the variation on the side that you like best. So maybe you opt for that taller side plank if that feels good. Maybe you go knee down to offer a bit of support, or maybe you come down elbow and forearm if that feels like a good way to go. Dang, you guys, nice job. Woo! 10 seconds left. You got this. And that's time. We're flipping over into a tabletop position. So come on down onto all fours. And then once you're there, we're taking it right into some wrist push-ups. So spread your fingers nice and wide. 30 seconds of work here. So we're just pushing into the fingertips, the wrists lift away from the ground, and then the wrists lower down. So everything else is staying as stable as it can. Elbows stay fairly straight. Lift your wrists, lower them with control. So you're going to feel a good stretch through the fingers and the palms. A good bit of strengthening work in the wrists and the top of the hand. You got it. Nice job. 10 more seconds left. All right, now we're going to take it into some push-ups. So whatever variation of push-up you like, you got 30 seconds of work. You might choose to stay in that tall plank position, take your push-ups there. You might choose to bring your knees down, take your push-ups there. You might be working your triceps, so you hug your elbows in a little tighter. Any variation that you like. You got 12 seconds left, whatever way you're going. And time. Beautiful job. Bring those knees back down. And now we're going to take it into a sideways crawl. So for that sideways crawl, I'm going to turn out and face the camera, but we're going to start with a small position. So knees down, hands down, and one hand is just going to follow the other. One knee is going to follow the other. You're going to start with that lower position, see how that feels. And then if it feels really great and you want that extra added bit of work, you're going to pick the knees up. They're going to hover the whole time. You're going to walk sideways over to one end of your mat and then walk sideways the other way. But the knees stay lifted the whole time. Beautiful. You're already halfway there. Six seconds left. You got this. Nice, Mara. Beautiful job. And time. Awesome work. All right, we're coming up to a standing position and we're going to take it right into some squats. So come on up, step your feet so that they're about hip or shoulder distance apart, maybe a slight external rotation with the hips. And then we're going to think butt back, bend your knees. So you're just sinking down into that squat and coming up with a bit of control. Think about finding that inner thigh connect. And this is one of those places where if you want a little bit of extra work, just grab your heavy weights and load them up at the shoulders. But if it feels all right to stay without those weights today, you do the variation that feels good to you. As you're doing your work here, just do a quick little check-in and assess where are you at this morning. And then next 2 rounds are speed. We take a little break and then we have one more speed round. So just know if you're feeling like speed's not for you this morning, you're going to leave the speed part off. But if you're feeling good, heart rate's getting up, working those big muscles. Five seconds left. You got this. And time. Awesome job. Okay, shake your legs out. Grab your Theraband. Now we're going to go for a speed round, but we're going to use our Theraband just to add a little fun or upper body work. So we're going to take it into a nice wide position. So we're going to think sumo squat, but we're going to draw our bow and arrow. So you're going to walk your hands in so you get a good tight pull on that Theraband. And then we're going to take it into some bow and arrow pose. So as you sink into your sumo squat, pull one arm back like you're pulling a bow and arrow. And we're going for speed here. So you're going as fast as you can if you want that bit of speed. If you feel like your legs don't want that work, but you want speed, just do the top half. Pull your bow and arrow, get a little twist, get a ton of work in the upper body, but maybe not using those big muscle groups. But if it feels good to get those big muscles involved, you're sinking into your sumo squat and pulling that elbow back. You got it. Nice work. Yes, you guys look amazing. And time. Awesome job. Come on up, shake your legs out. Okay, next up, We're taking it into our monster walks and we're going for speed. So take your Theraband into a little loop, walk yourself to the back end of your mat, step onto your Theraband, crisscross your ends. So you get a little pull on the Theraband, sink into a little squat. And now we're going for speed. So we're keeping our butt low. We're zigzag walking up to the top end of the mat. And then you're zigzag walking backwards, but you're trying to catch a little speed here. But even though you're going for speed, you're not going to let that leg just ricochet back into place. You're going to control it stepping out, and you're going to control it as it steps in. You can wrap the Theraband around your hands so you really keep and maintain that good bit of resistance. Keep your butt low. But now if speed's not for you this morning, slow and steady. Step it out with control. Step it in with control, whichever variation you're going with. We're still letting our legs do all the hard work. Don't lose that sink down butt position though. You want to stay nice and low so that your quadriceps and your glutes stay fired up the whole time. You got 10 seconds left. Nice work. And time. Woo! Come on up. Unwrap your hands. Step your feet out. Give everything a quick shake. Now we're going to take a little working recovery, and then we have one more round of speed. So if you shook your legs out, go ahead and step back on. And now we're going to take it into a deadlift. So you're going to really choke up on that Theraband or reach down with as close of a grab toward your feet as you can. And then we're taking it up and down, but at a good, slow, steady pace. So we think hip hinge. We push the butt back as the heart comes forward. Keep a micro bend in the knees so we're not pulling against the hamstrings, but working with the hamstrings. So the hamstrings are going to help you on that lift. Squeeze your glutes, push your butt back, hinge from your waist. Nice, beautiful job. If you're losing that bit of resistance, choke up on your Theraband as close towards your feet as you can. And then if you feel like your back rounds a little bit, or you're losing that flat back position, keep your chin tucked to your chest the whole time. So you really help maintain that long spine and that good long position as you lower down and come up. Yes, beautiful. And time, awesome job. Okay, step off your Theraband. Our last round of speed. So it's gonna be a marching work with some kayak rows. So you're gonna walk your hands in, get a good pulling apart position, and then we're rowing. So we're gonna pick one leg up and we're crossing it over. If you don't like working with the Theraband for this particular move, grab some light hand weights, but we're just rowing across like you're rowing your kayak. So you're gonna twist and turn. If those tail ends get in your way, just grab both tail ends, choke up a little, just so they're not fluttering all over the place. You got it, nice work. Go as fast as you can. So we're really swinging those arms, get your heart rate up, get a nice little march going. Beautiful. And time. Woo, awesome job. Okay, set your Theraband down. We're coming back to that deadlift action, but now we're gonna do hands-free, no weights, nothing going on. Hands are gonna come behind the head. Push your head into your hands, hands into your head. So we're gonna maintain that nice posture. Bend your knees a little bit. Come to that halfway fold point. Come right back up. So we wanna focus here on pushing the head into the hands into the head, so we create that nice position of using those back body muscles. Just come to that halfway point and bring it right back up. Keep your elbows as wide as you can. If your hands behind the head, is a no-go. If your shoulders just don't love that position, then you're going to keep the hands at the shoulders, but just try to keep a little bit of contact through the back of the body. So you really feel like you're keeping a nice strong position through your shoulders and through your upper back. Yes, beautiful job. And time. Woo! Let those shoulders down, grab your Theraband. One more minute of really good work, and the rest gets just a little bit easier. So we're gonna get that pulling apart sensation again. And now we're gonna add some alternating rear lunges with a twist. So step one leg back, the leg that's in front. That's where we're rotating towards. Bring it back to center, switch to the other side. Step your other leg back, rotate towards that front knee, back to center, step it in. We keep that pulling apart sensation on the Theraband. So we keep the back body and the chest nice and engaged. Pull apart and twist, step it back in, switch to the other side. You take that lunge at the depth that works good for you, which means you might dip the knee down, you might keep it up, you might keep it big, you might keep it small, totally up to your body. Nice, Ting. Awesome job. Beautiful, you guys. That looks amazing. 15 seconds left. You got this. And time. Awesome work. Okay, last little bit of work for our arms. Step back into your Theraband. So find that loop again. Step into it. And now we're going to choke up just a little bit. And now we're going to pull up towards the chin, lower it with control. So you create as much resistance as works good for you, which means you might be holding on to the tail ends, or you might wrap it up a little bit. Pull it up to the chin, bring it back down with control. A nice upright posture. Most of this work is coming up out of the shoulders. Pull it up nice and high, lower it with control. So don't let that Theraband snap you back down. You come up with the same speed as you go down. If you need that extra bit of work, grab some hand weights. But if you like this feedback where you find that resistance going up and down, stick with it. Keep your belly nice and firm. Beautiful, you guys. Ten seconds left. You got this. And time. Nicely done. Okay, step out of your Theraband. And then we're going to use our Theraband to do just a little bit of shoulder mobility work. So a nice wide grip on your Theraband and just start to pass it overhead and then right back to the front. So we're making that big movement through the shoulders and let your Theraband move with you. So if you reach that point where it needs to spread apart, let it do what it does. Beautiful. Take a few more times, just find your pace, your rhythm. Awesome. One more time, over and back. And then we're going to reposition our hands. So hands are going to face backwards, or palms are going to face backwards. So if you bring that band behind you, now loop your hand in so that your palms are facing back. And now we're going to take it into a fold over and let the arms fall away. So bend your knees, let your hands fall away from the back of the body. Let them fall just the way they naturally fall. But if you've got too wide of a grip on your Theraband, just walk your hands in a little closer. And time. Hands to the low back. Lift from the top of your head. Let your chest follow. Come up nice and slow. Unloop your Theraband. Give your shoulders a little shrug. And then when you're ready, we're going to take the left arm across the body, grab the back of that arm, hug it in nice and tight, and then let the shoulder kind of drop down away from your ear. Once you're there, tuck your chin towards your chest and take about 3 nice deep breaths. Beautiful. Lift your head up, switch to the other side, bring your arm across, grab the back of the arm, shoulder drops away from the ear. And then once you've got that tight position, tuck your chin to your chest and take 3 nice deep breaths. Beautiful. Lift your head up, release that arm, take your left leg, step it across the right. So we would line up our pinky toes in a little crisscross position. And then once you're there, start to walk yourself down. Start by walking down to the thigh, see how that feels. Maybe walk past your knees towards your shins. And then if it feels okay, maybe you reach down towards your toes. Awesome. When you're ready, come up nice and slow. The leg that's in front, keep it there for a second. That arm, take it up and overhead and add a little side bend. Beautiful. Lift up with control and then uncross your legs, take it to the other side. So right leg is going to cross over the left so the pinky toes line up. And then once you're there, walk down to your depth. So maybe it's the thighs, maybe it's your shins, maybe it's toward your toes. Beautiful. When you're ready, come up nice and slow. The leg that's in front, that's the arm that's going to reach up. Add your side bend. Nice. And then when you're ready, lift up, uncross your legs, give everything a good shake. You guys are amazing. Grab your Pilates ball if you're sticking around. Nice, Trish. You look pink in the cheeks. I like it. Good job.